Good morning. Perhaps you've seen on a nature show or maybe in person the orcas or the whales in our oceans when they arc out of the water, arching their backs and then lunging back in and crashing back into the waves and into the water. And it is an amazing sight. They call it breaching, when they breach the surface of the water and smash back inside. And scientists have done lots of studies that why do whales do this? There's a couple of ideas. One is that they are trying to communicate something to one another, that the hum and the vibrations of their communications and their sounds are communicating to their brothers, follow, come with, be with me. And the other is very similar in that they're saying, here's where I am, and this is where we're going, so that no one gets lost, so they all can follow the path and stay together as a pod. Well, during this time of COVID and the chaos of the elections in this country, many people have felt lost. Lost can look like many things. Lost their bearing. They can be angry or frustrated or short-tempered or depressed, silent, withdrawn, lashing out, behaving in ways that otherwise you'd say, what? Lost manifests itself in as many different ways as there are people. And a lot of this happens because we have lost our mooring. All of those traditional external reference points that we used to mark our lives, the passing of time, and the way we would celebrate a normal routine in a normal day, in a normal year, have vanished. And for many people, this has been a heart-wrenching experience. Some have been creative in finding new ways to anchor their lives, and others, it's been total chaos. They've developed all of their reference points outside themselves, and when those have been diminished or removed, there's no reference point within. There's no sense of being anchored within. When I first left religious life, my roommate, her father had a big boat, a 50-footer, and he kept it in Anacortes up north in Washington near the San Juan Islands. And we were lucky enough, so lucky, that while he still lived, he took us on a number of adventures. And granted, she grew up with this. For me, it was all new. And one thing you know, that if you're safe on the water, you've got to know how to anchor, when to anchor. Without an anchor, you are not safe on the water. You need to moor yourself, lock yourself in, attach yourself to something stable, or the experience of the freedom and joy of sailing is lost. All it is anxiety. And so this situation is so similar. Without a sense of anchor, people feel like their lives have been hijacked and that they are adrift on the sea and they don't know where to go and how to find stability. You can be that stability. Have you thought of that? I encourage you, and I've been doing the same. We think we would recognize people who've lost their mooring during this COVID time, but we've become very adept at hiding our vulnerability from one another. Reach out to people that perhaps you haven't seen lately, people who are a part of your life, who are important to you. Call them on the phone. Let them hear your voice. Allow yourself to be that safe harbor for them. Or perhaps they will be a mooring point for you in this process. Write a card, a hard copy card, not just an email. Send a card in the mail. Be that lifeline. We've lost so much during COVID. We don't want to lose one another. What becomes more and more apparent is how deeply similar we are, and our differences fade away. So what we really want to remember is that our similarity means that we belong to one another. We've lost so much. Let's not lose one another.